I like your glasses.
Thanks. Hello everyone. I am here with Lindsay Harris. If you've been with us before for a coast to coast interview, then you know the deal. The Costello Group is part of a network of top producing agents and is called Coast to Coast. And Lindsay Harris is also one of those top producing agents. She's agreed to talk to me today about all things Austin, Texas, and I'm super excited. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, excited to be here.
Yes, so my husband is horrified that I'm gonna say this. I have never been to Austin, Texas.
Well, that's a shame.
I know every time he comes home from South by Southwest, he yells at me that we've never been there together.
Yeah, it's such a cool place.
So how did you end up there? Are you from there?
No, I grew up north of Houston in a very small town, but after I graduated college, I came to Austin. So I've been here almost 21 years now,
Mhm.
long time, and I've seen a lot of changes. I mean, it has exploded in growth.
Wow.
Um, yeah, this is a place that was kind of a blue dot in a red state. It was really a place like an artist haven. It's known for
Mhm.
its live music capital of the world, and it never really had much infrastructure. It was just where the hippies hung out along the lake and
Yeah.
Barton Springs. And over time, as our world has gotten more mobile,
Yeah.
like we don't need the infrastructure. People are just moving here in droves, and the tech companies are now starting to come because it's such an awesome place. So,
So did you go there when it was just like a bunch of hippies on the lake?
well, that was really like the 60s and the 70s, and then it was still like the 80s went through a horrible, the oil crisis.
Yeah.
Uh, the bottom dropped out, and nobody could sell their homes, and so this place was empty. And then the tech boom of like 2000 really kind of got the ball rolling again, and then that crashed. But people have Austin is a place where people try to create a job just so that they can live in
Like a
Austin.
stay? That's
Yes,
awesome.
so they can stay. And with the University of Texas here, a lot of the alumni are like, what do I have to do? I need to start a business just so I can stay here.
That's great. That's great for Austin.
Yeah, it is. And now we really have some serious like tech companies, thanks to Elon Musk.
Mhm.
It's going through the roof, which, I welcome all, but it's been a real challenge in the market.
Finding property. Okay, so we'll get there.
Yes.
So as someone that, I mean, you've kind of already painted a bit of a picture, but like paint like the picture of Austin for me, like if someone's never been there. Like,
So the beautiful thing, I grew up, north of Houston, and Houston's really flat. You're close to the Gulf Coast,
mhm.
but I can't say that Texas has the most exotic beaches.
Yeah.
If you like oil rigs.
Yeah.
Um, so Austin has all the hills, beautiful trees.
Mm.
We're right on the water, and then we have like Town Lake running through downtown. So there's hike and bike trails.
Wow.
Barton Springs is a natural spring fed like swimming hole that's been here forever. Like you'll see old pictures from people in the 20s and the 30s swimming in it. It's just, and then when you live in Austin, it's like an hour and a half out to the Texas Hill Country, which is now sort of like Napa
Mm.
Valley. There's wineries, lots of distilleries. So that's another great aspect.
It sounds like it's like almost an oasis.
Yes.
Nice. I like it.
An oasis of liberals. No,
I'm coming.
I love it. I love it. I always felt a little out of place growing up in my conservative town. And so I moved to New York for a stint after college, and that was too much for me. I needed like to be in my car and drive around. And then Austin was like the perfect middle ground. I had
Mm.
like the artists and the liberals and the hippies, but then I still had my, land and my Texas roots. Um, so it's been a good place for me.
So how did the tech company, the tech boom affect real estate? How long have you been an agent?
I've been an agent for like 17 years. I started in my early 20s.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've seen it all. And, I started in this business out of desperation because I had so much student loan debt, like debt up to my eyeballs. I figured out how to buy a zero down house. And the east side of Austin was the only neighborhood I could afford. And everybody I knew was like, you're not buying a house over there. And I'm like, yes, I am. You can throw a stone and hit downtown.
Yeah.
Turned out to be the best decision I ever made. And Austin has just exploded since. So I got in early, when every house was under $100,000.
So that was the market when you first got there. And then
Yes.
how has it changed over time?
It's just continued to grow. And, a lot of people come here and they worry about there being a bubble. And just in central Austin, it's so well insulated because we don't have, the thing about Austin is we don't have the road infrastructure that a lot of places like Houston and Dallas have. So, there's not a lot of room to grow around central Austin. We only have so much land, which is the reason that Oracle, when they came to town, they basically bought up a bunch of apartment complexes along the river that people thought would never be sold and scraped them. And now they have this huge compound, so people are trying to create space. And that is what has caused the stability in our market as far as central Austin goes. Really. And then it pushes everybody to the outskirts. So it truly is. We're very well insulated here.
Okay. So what does the last year look like and what does it look like now?
So I was just looking at some stats. Let me pull this up. So from February 2020 till February 2021, our median, let's see, the average sold price went from $497,000 to $651,000 in 1 year. So that's 31% growth. That's the highest we've ever seen. And then the median days on market is like 5 days on market. Yeah. And the real issue is that we have zero inventory. And I think it's a combination of COVID, so COVID, the interest rates being 2.5%, and then, the stock market's doing really well, and then the tech companies are moving here. So we have all this, and then COVID has caused virtual, work situations. Right. So I'm seeing a mass exodus out of California. I literally have like 8 California buyers I'm working with right now. So there's a mass exodus. It's a perfect storm of like these scenarios that are atypical. Usually you have the stock market in the gutter, but interest rates are low, so people will jump over to the real estate market. Right. Now I feel like people have a surplus of money. I don't even know where this money's coming from, to be honest. So that's the other stat. I just kind of wanted to talk about, like, in the 500,000 or below range, we're seeing like 20 plus competing offers, and the houses are going for 20% over list. And then in the 500 to 1 million range, we're seeing 10 to 20 competing offers and, 10 to 20% over list. And then 1 to 1.5, maybe 1 to 5. And, that's always been a market that it takes a little while, up to 5, 1.5 to 1.5. Sad, but true. That's like a 4-bedroom family home in Austin. That's like the average to get something that you could move in
with a family
and not have to renovate. But that is, they're so not existent. And then 1.5 plus, 5 to 10% over list. But really it's just that we have negative inventory right now. So the sharks are swimming and people are upset.
Yeah.
Really. And I can't tell you how many people have called me and said, I'm just not happy with my agent. Are you taking new clients? And I'm like, well, let me ask you something first. Is it that your agent's not doing a good job, or you just can't find anything?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that tension right now.
Yeah. The last couple of people I've interviewed have said the exact same thing. And they were in Colorado, Florida. I mean, it's everywhere. It's just, you know.
It is. And, I'm really just trying to put my blinders on and take it one transaction at a time. And I'm really setting limits on the people that I agree to take on because I don't want to disappoint.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like we're all riding this out, hoping that something changes. And I hope with the vaccines and COVID, everybody's heard what happened in Texas, like taking the mask off 100% capacity.
Yeah.
Shit show. I don't know. But all the places around here are, all the restaurants, and they're insisting on masks. They're making their own rules.
Yeah.
But the activity, people are out in droves. So it feels like, before COVID for the first time. And I think with vaccinations, maybe sellers are going to feel comfortable that they'll be able to have a plan in place. Everybody's just waiting and seeing.
Yeah.
So I think that will open up inventory. Hopefully.
So the market's crazy. The numbers are insane. And so someone comes and they want to work with you and you agree to take them on. What do they get from you that they wouldn't get from like another agent per se?
Well, I'm really trying to set expectations. And, first of all, if someone's doing financing, first of all, setting expectations, like letting them know that this is a process. And where normally I'd be like, let's get a short-term rental. We'll find something. I'm like, you need to consider getting a 6 to 9 month lease so that we, don't have you out there without a place to live. And then we're going to take this slowly. And the more patience you have, the more likely we're going to be able to find something, that you actually like.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, the biggest issue for people who are financing is that in our market, we have a new form that came out about a year and a half ago, or maybe 2 years ago, an appraisal waiver. Nobody ever used those. And now to compete with the cash, you have to waive the appraisal. So for people, for people who only have like 20% or God forbid 5% down, like I guess since December, the prices have just gone like this. So the comps haven't quite caught up yet with these new values.
Yeah.
So that's another reason I'm saying, let's lease for a little bit, let these comps catch up, and then you won't be left holding some bag that you can't
ever get rid of.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Because I don't want them to be locked into a contract and then have to bring $100,000 extra dollars to the table that they don't have. Yeah. So once comps catch up, then that won't be such an issue. But we're right in that kind of line, just that sweet spot of almost there.
Yeah. Okay, so.
And I'm scrounging inventory. Like I'm calling expired, like lease properties, everything. And I've had a few, every now and then a blind pig finds a truffle. That's me. I found a few off the market deals, and it's like, oh, thank God, I don't have to deal with the multiple offers, the appraisal waivers, but we're working like dogs over here.
Yeah. So, all right. So, you've been there for a very long time. Mm-hmm. You've got to know Austin like the back of your hand. It sounds like an amazing oasis. What are some of your favorite places? Like, what's your favorite barbecue?
Oh, well, it's right down the street. So Franklin's Barbecue is like the world famous, like everybody knows. Yeah. But there's another place just right up Rosewood Avenue called Micklethwait. And it never has the same line, and I actually think it's better. Like their sides are amazing. And Franklin's is delicious, but half the time you don't know if it's just because you've been waiting for 6 hours and you're starving. I eat my arm at that point.
So at Micklethwait, what I'm there for the first time. What are the best sides? What do I need to try?
Oh, the coleslaw and the beans, the mashed potatoes. And I just like, I like the coleslaw and the mashed potatoes on my pork sandwich. Where it drips down your face.
There, you can't get more textures or things going on.
It's so good. It's so good. And you have to wear a bib.
Okay. Noted. Noted. Favorite place to drink a beer?
I love the White Horse. It's like this seedy little 1970s urban cowboy bar, and I go there to dance, and they have an outdoor patio. It is so trippy. You go there, and it's like you were right in the 70s. So fun.
That sounds amazing to me.
Yes.
Like you've been transported.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. And you can just watch the dancers and have a beer. It's awesome.
Favorite place to spend time outside?
Barton Springs, Zilker Park. You know, there's so many people. Like, this is a really dog-friendly city, so everybody brings their dog in the evenings and watches the sunset and just sits out at the water. You can see the skyline. Also, we have a great hike and bike trail that goes all the way around the lake, and you know, you just see the downtown view, the cityscape at night. So it's great.
Sounds lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a dog?
Yes. Scrappy Doo.
What?
Scrappy Doo.
Scrappy Doo? Scooby-Doo's little brother?
He's what?
Isn't that Scooby-Doo's little brother?
Yes. Yeah. That's why we named him that, because he's muscular and packs a punch. But I adopted him during COVID, so he's been a great companion.
Nice. Yeah. I did the COVID puppy thing too. Adopted. Yeah. Okay. Any other favorites?
Yes. You know, I love Justine's on the east side. It's like this little house out in the middle of the east side that's like very Parisian. And so it's a great place to go have a drink and people watch. It's like, it's a very sexy place. So great place to go on a date. I love Cosmic Coffee Shop is my absolute favorite. And they have this taco truck called Pueblo Viejo. It's on South Congress. And it's just like a huge outdoor space with tons. I mean, it really took off during COVID because they had the outdoor accommodations. Yeah. But, you know, if you don't want to like be drinking or go to a bar, it's a great place to be social. It's just always packed. And then the breakfast tacos are amazing. Matt's El Rancho is a staple here in Austin. It's like traditional Mexican food. So good. Like huge margaritas, and like their chips and guacamole are amazing, and they have a great outdoor patio. So you don't want to miss that.
I could live on chips and margaritas, I think.
Yes, me too. Chips and salsa, margaritas. I'm good to go. Oh, and then there's a great place, a macrobiotic. I like to eat a lot of vegetables, but Casa de Luz has been here since the 70s. And it's a real hippie compound, and it looks like you're in Tulum when you go in, but everything is gluten-free, no sugar. Like it sounds terrible, but it's actually like these plates of fresh vegetables. Everything's made with like nut seeds and the dressings and the salad. So you get a soup, salad, huge plate of veggies, and a tea for $14.
Wow.
And they're nonprofit, but these ladies in there just cook all day, the freshest ingredients. So it's dairy-free, gluten-free. You know, I like to take my dates in there because I find out if they're going to shoot me straight or not. And when they tell me that they never want to go in that place again, I know I've got an honest one.
I love that so much. Wow. Yeah. I don't think I have any. How can people find you? Lindsay Harris.
On our website, lindsayharrisrealestate.com. And I'm on Instagram, Lindsay Harris ATX. And it's Lindsay with an A. I was named after the bionic woman, Lindsay Wagner.
That is awesome.
So the A is important.
Yes. I love the sound that she used to make right before she would jump.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. I don't have anything. I don't have any other questions. Do you have anything else you'd like to share before we
if anybody wants to take a trip to Austin, Texas, hit me up because I can be your personal tour guide and give you all the best places to go.
I think I might be taking you up on that.
Yeah. And I've got some great Airbnb spots as well. So I'm a good resource for Austin.
Okay. Good to know.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lindsay Harris. It was good to talk to you.
Yeah, have a great weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.